Hello everyone, hope this finds you well. So the topic for today would be pivot tables and more specifically how to use the feature of percentage difference from. So this feature will help us use the pivot table as a summarization tool to help compare a field in a certain data set with respect to a benchmark that has been set by the user. So let's get started with the data set at hand over here. So this is an imaginary office supply company and the data set consists of 7 different fields. So the first field over here consists of the order date, that is the date when the order was being placed. The second field is the region field, that would consist of the region where the sales was being conducted. Then we have the rep field where the rep denotes the sales representative for that particular order. Then we have the items field that would indicate the names of the items that have been sold for that particular order. Then we have the units field, that would be the number of units for that particular order. Then the unit cost, that is the cost of one single unit in that particular order. And then we have the totals field, that would be the sales computed by multiplying the units with the units cost. So let's go ahead and create a pivot table first. I click a cell within a table, go to the insert tab here, click on pivot table. Now Excel will automatically select a range for the pivot table. Then I choose where to place the pivot table, and that would be the new worksheet. Click on OK. Rename this sheet to maybe pivot table summary for better reference. So now before we go ahead with the pivot table analyze, it would always be better to visualize a certain output so that you would know what you want to analyze with the help of a pivot table. So to help with that, I have a question already framed here on the office supply worksheet, and that would be, what is the year-wise sales of the central region and how does it compare to the other regions? So over here, what we come to know is that we have to group the data by year and also use the central region as a benchmark for comparing the sales performance of the other regions. So let's go ahead and find that out. So head over to the pivot table summary, click on the pivot table view here, then the pivot table fields view comes up, and click on the order date, drag it down to the rows box here. So as we can see, the years and the quarters are being denoted over here, but I just want for the year-wise sales summary. So for that, I would have to right click here, ungroup it. That would ungroup it to each specific order date. Then I right click again, group it, and select years. Everything seems okay. Then I click on OK, and there we have it, a much cleaner summary for the sales data. So now we have to go ahead and then drag the region field onto the rows box here. So we have the central, east and west region, and for the units for comparison, I would choose the total sales and drag it on to the values box here, and there we have the pivot table already computing the sum of the total sales with respect to years and the specific regions. Now coming to the second part of the question as to how the other regions are faring with respect to the central region. For that, we have to use the percentage difference from feature, and for that we would have to come to the pivot table here, click on any cell within the sum of total, right click, then go to show value as and go to more options. Then the pivot table window will come up. We then choose show data as, go to the drop down box, select percentage difference from. So since we have to use the region and more specifically the central region as a benchmark here, we choose the base field as a region, and then we choose central as the base item, or in other words the benchmark. Click on OK, and there we have it. So I would just go and rename this field over here as percentage difference. So here we have the central field showing null values here, which is okay because it has to be the benchmark, and a benchmark compared with a benchmark would show no difference. Here we can see the east region having a comparatively better performance as compared to the central region, and the west region having a relatively very low sales as compared to the central region in the year 2020. And so on and so forth, we can carry out the analysis for the other regions in the other particular year. So this will go on to show how we can use percentage difference as a perfect tool for analyzing our data better. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please do stay tuned for more. Thank you.